Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to beat Mayors, the boss in the Arknights Limbus Company collab. I'll be real with you guys, if you're watching this video because you need help fighting Mayors, just know there's no easy way out of this, okay? This boss is hard. It's not hard for everyone because if you have a very high damage output team, you'll do her gimmick easily, and you'll say, well, that wasn't very hard. But if you're like us and you're playing this fight with a low damage output team because you just haven't built, you know, a lot of great units or even mediocre units and you're using bad units, yeah, this guide is for you because I use a team precisely like that to beat this fight. Just one thing to note, this replay I'm about to share and cast over is 34 minutes long, so I will be skipping through parts of it, but I'll upload the full video to YouTube as well if you want to just watch the full fight with no commentary. Anyways, let's start the guide now with that minute of dialogue out of the way. Just wanted to give a little disclaimer there because this is a really hard fight. Okay, so your first thing, the way you path through the mirror dungeon matters. I should show that here in the replay, but the ego gifts matter. So this one at the bottom here that I'm circling with my mouse gives you a lantern that purges nervous impairment and makes your #1 deployed sinner stronger. So it just makes your #1 in Giga Chad. This top lantern right here, or not lantern, this top node gives a ego gift that generates ego resources. I don't recommend it because there's already a lot of ego resources abundant in this fight because Amiya blesses you. So only pick that if you're really starved for ego. I don't know what the middle node gives, I'm sorry. This top node, I'm sorry, I don't know what it gives. This bottom node, though, gives you something really good. It gives you this compass that heals your sanity. And then there's the lantern. So you want the compass that heals your sanity, and it also gives you attack power up. The final node only, it just heals your sinners, so that's it. One thing, as we're starting the fight, if your team sucks and you wish you had a different team, or you wish you had chosen different ego gifts in the mirror dungeon, or you didn't get the ego gifts because you chose the wrong option, you need to replay the dungeon, man. I really hate to break it to you, but don't keep pounding your head against the wall. Just back out of the dungeon and replay the dungeon and get back to the boss fight. Okay. Turn 1. Turn 1 doesn't matter because the boss Mayors does no damage. So this is just your opportunity to generate charge or get any ego passives online you want. Remember, ego passives stack, so that's good. The only ego I'll be using in this fight are the default egos, the new Ishmael collab ego, because that's free for everyone, and then I'm going to use Command Meltdown. That's the one ego outside the defaults I'll branch out to. Because I think having just one source of healing is really important. And there's a lot of different sources of healing in this game, and that's what I've chosen as mine, is Command Meltdown, because I know a lot of you are pulling for that right now. That's the Calcit ego. Okay, here what matters is that you try to avoid getting nervous impairment. So I'm going to set up some clashes to kill these guys, because killing them is how you weaken the boss. Once you've killed enough of them, because the damage you do to them when you kill them transfers over to the boss, and once you get the boss to half health, she goes to phase 2. So I'm just setting up clashes. Okay, there we go, there we go. And then I'm only going to just dodge against the Nether Sea Founder, because he's too tanky for me to one-shot, so his unbreakable coin will go off and apply nervous impairment, and I just can't deal with that, so I'm just going to evade him. And then for that guy that I just killed, the little shell-looking dude with Otis, he does an area of effect damage, so always make sure you use a dominating clash against him, because you can't risk anything against him. These little dogs, the Seashell Runner, are extremely weak, because they don't inflict nervous impairment, they only inflict sinking, so you can just ignore them and kill them when you have the opportunity, because they don't do damage and they don't do nervous impairment, so they might as well not exist. Rousseau gets a kill here. Excellent. Okay. Another turn of the same. The only thing to note before I skip this turn ahead on the replay is you need to use Chains of Others on turn 3, because on turn 4 she's going to nuke. I believe she nukes on turns 4 and turns 8. Although maybe she nukes on turn 7 sometimes, but I'm pretty sure she nukes on turns 4. Well, I know she nukes on turns 4, and I'm pretty sure she then nukes again on turn 8. So we need to preemptively use Chains of Others to weaken her nuke that's coming. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward. This is just animations. Okay, skipped that. So there's the nuke. We can see it's coming out. It does more damage the more nervous impairment you have, but I have no nervous impairment because I've been evading everything. And she's Chains of Others because I knew she was going to use it on turn 4. So we have her double weakened in that she's not going to get power up from nervous impairment, and we chained her. So I'm going to skip this turn again because it's more of the same. Although you do see me going for that Nether Sea Founder I've been ignoring for 3 turns now because I think I have the damage to one-shot him without him getting a chance to use Unbreakable Coin because I'm going to weaken him and then hit him with DDER from Ryoshu. Okay, I'm going to skip. This is just animations. Okay. Very chill turn. As you can see, the nuke did nothing. My health bars aren't even moved. I think, if I remember right, it did 18 damage spread across all 7 of my Sinners because I had her so weakened. Now, turn 5. The Roomba is out, okay? It's called Hand of the Saint. Your fastest unit needs to hit the Roomba. You can't be messing around with having a slow unit hit the Roomba because having the Roomba on turns the Seaborn into genocidal maniacs that are horrible to fight. And it increases their clash power a lot. It inflicts nervous impairment on your guys. It does damage. And it turns that Nether Sea Spewer, the little clam looking guy who has area of effect, it turns his attacks into Unbreakable Coin. So you see me make a huge mistake here because I am not clashing the Roomba, the Hand of the Saint, with a fast unit. So Ryoshu's going to go in, hit the Nether Sea Spewer, and then its Unbreakable Coins are going to go off because it's being buffed by the Nether Sea brand. So I should have had Ishmael hit the Roomba, but I greeted, and I get punished really bad here. I get punished really bad because you can see I was like 2 damage away from staggering it, and now it inflicts 10 nervous impairment on all my Sinners. That's 70 nervous impairment it inflicted because I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, you just have to hit the Roomba with your fastest unit every time. Don't take a chance like I did. It's just so not worth it. Okay. And then yeah, Otis fails the dodge just as the cherry on top. Okay. Now, I just did a lot of doom posting, right? Guess what? I still win this fight. It's okay to make some mistakes. I just wanted you guys to know that that was a misplay with the Roomba and with that little clam dude, the Nether Sea Spewer. Don't mess around like I did, because I never... Once that 10 nervous impairment is spread on your whole team, you never come... You know, that doesn't come back down. You're just stuck with nervous impairment forever unless your first unit is purging it every turn like my Ishmael's doing because of the Lantern gift. Alright, I'm going to skip to this turn because it's more of the same. And we see I ended that turn with chains. So now we go to the next turn. Just dodging him because I don't think I can stagger him in one go. I'm letting her buff the Nether Sea Reaper because I'm not planning on fighting the Nether Sea Reaper, so I don't care if it gets stronger because I'm just going to keep dodging it because I just can't fight it, so I'm just going to keep dodging it because my damage output's way too low. Now here, you can't risk losing the clash with that nuke. You can't risk it on a favorite if you can't help it. So I'm just going to let Merceau fight someone else because it was only favored on Chains of Others, and I'll have Otis do it. Alright, gonna skip ahead a little bit because this is just more of exactly what we saw earlier, where I'm weakening the nuke. I'm gonna dodge where I can on things that I can't stop to avoid nervous impairment spreading too fast, and I'm gonna try to kill the little guys where I can to lower the boss health pool. So I'm gonna skip. Yeah, I skipped a full minute and I'm still deciding what to do. I'll skip another minute and a half. Just animations. More animations to skip. And let's watch the nuke go off and see how little damage it does. Only 21 damage because we've just been crippling her with the Chains of Others before it goes off. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Goated ego. Almost done with phase 2. Or phase 1, I mean. I think phase 1 ends here, because once she gets to 1589 or 83 health, phase 1 is over. So all I need to do is kill a couple of these little guys, and it's over. And once it's over, the phase ends right away, okay? It doesn't, like, let you end your turn. It's a hard phase change. So the hard phase change, because I skipped ahead a bit, it should happen right here. If I remember right. Oh, not quite, because I don't finish that one off. We'll see. Maybe I don't change phase this turn. Looks like I was a little bit damage off because I didn't pick up the kills there. Otis gets staggered because she fails the dodge, but it happens. People get staggered. Okay, skipping a bit just to show you guys the phase change. Yep, right there. So I killed another Mook and it did enough damage to her. When that Mook died, she goes to phase 2. Skip this animation. So phase 2, another nuke rotation is coming up. She's going to start nuking every 3 or 4 turns, so you have to keep applying Chains of Others. Now, the gimmick with phase 2, I've seen people posting, am I reading wrong? How do I beat this gimmick? There is no easy way to beat the gimmick. You have to do 1581 damage to her, because that's how big her shield is. It's equal to her max HP, half her max HP. So you need to do 1581 damage to her, combined with the fact she's going to regenerate some of it every time she nukes. And if you fail the clash against the nuke, she regenerates even more. Once her shield is broken, she'll stagger instantly, and then she'll stay staggered next turn, right? So you get a full stagger length plus whatever extra you got. And when she staggers, she gets +5 fragile in addition to whatever other fragile she's already accumulated. So you should end up at like +10 fragile. So she'll be staggered and take extra damage, and then she'll be taking double damage from fragile. So she's super weak, but you need to do her entire max HP pool during that 1 turn window, or she resets and gets all her shield back, and you just have to keep playing. And that is really hard to come back from. So I'm not worried about that in this phase right now, because I'm so far away from cracking her shield. All I'm worried about is survival and dealing damage where I can. But once we get the shield down to sub 500, we need to start really thinking about the timing of taking that shield down and starting to save some nukes to get ready to deal damage to her when the shield's down. So there you go, that's the first turn of phase 2, just very basic. Don't be afraid that her clash power is massive, because you're going to get Chains of Others on, and you're going to get a buff here that's going to help. So turn 1's really rough, but just get through it and spam ego or dodge where you can. That's what you see me do. I just dodge with Roja and, not Roja, with Yisong and with Faust. I wish Roja could also dodge. And I use Snag Harpoon to make sure that, the passive was active, because that'll give Ishmael more clash power. So really quick, I skipped through that a little too quickly. You get given, I'll pause it here for a second, the option to choose a buff. A lot of great options. Max HP, sure, cool, whatever. Extra, removing a stagger bar, from the incremental motion and firmware, great, whatever. You can scroll down. There's one that gives you +2 attack power up for like 3 turns. That's nice. Or there's one that makes you immune to Nether Sea. Well, you're always going to hit the Roomba, so it doesn't matter if you're immune to Nether Sea, because you should always hit the Roomba. I choose this middle one, Housekeeping Assistant module, because what it does is it gives you +1 offense level for every time you've hit the Saint, the Roomba. And since I've already hit, and it caps out at 4 times, so it gives you +4 offense level the rest of the fight. Since I've already hit the Roomba 4 times, when you pick this perk, you get it at max. So picking this means you get +4 offense level up the rest of the fight, which is 1 extra clash power and 12% more damage. So yeah, hell yeah, I picked that one, because I'm going to be in this another 10 turns. So. Now she's going to nuke the turn after this, I believe, so we have to make sure we get Chains of Others on her. I'm also going to use Crow's Eye View to weaken her unbreakable coins that are coming through. And then other than that, yeah, it's just kind of normal clashing and normal dealing damage. You will see me start to use that ego I mentioned about Ishmael earlier, Title Elegy, the free one right now, because I'm going to use that as a huge source of damage here, because my damage output on this team is ass, and so that's a way all players can use right now to get good damage on your team in Phase 2, because Title Elegy does double damage when there's only one enemy unit on the field. And in Phase 2, there's only one enemy unit, so suddenly Title Elegy gets really good. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead, because I spent a while planning here, for better or for worse. You can see me spend 3 minutes deciding what moves to use. I was thinking pretty hard about it. Alright, so we'll skip ahead, and let's see that double damage happen from Title Elegy, so I can prove that it's good for this. And mine's only at uptie 2. Look at that. Now this is lucky because I rolled triple heads, but because you get ego resources refunded when using a collab ego in this dungeon, you can spam that every turn. So you can start putting out 200 to 300 damage on mayors every turn just with Ishmael. So make sure you get that out of the shop. Alright, let's skip ahead now. She does her mini nuke, does some damage, but we take care of it. Skip ahead. So she's doing her real nuke now, which is why it's so good we used Chains of Feathers on her last turn, because it's her third turn in Phase 2. Excuse me, I hiccuped. It's her third turn in Phase 2, and yeah, she's nuking. So I just try to stay alive here, you know, I forfeit some damage, because anything to the left of where, or to the right of where you clash isn't going to go off, because the nuke instantly ends the turn. So since I want to clash it with the Calcit ego, I can't use skills after that, so I just only use defense skills, because that's all I can do. If Calcit was going last, then yeah, I could have used the other skills to do some more damage, but it works out anyways, it's fine. There we go. Beautiful. Do some dodges, do some guards, and we'll see how much damage this nuke does after I've neutered it as best as I could. Rolls a 5. Yeah, it's tough, guys. I neutered that nuke as best as I could. Chains of Feathers on the prior turn. I have protection from the compass and stuff. I used Calcit, and I still took 138 damage. It's just brutal. I guess I could have tried to use Yisung's Crow's Eye View to lower its power by another 2 if I had the opportunity, but it wasn't going to work out that time. So it's back to spamming ego. That's right, this is an ego spam fight. I leave this one as struggling because I was pretty confident I could win the clash anyways, because or maybe I do use ego. Okay, I do. But I would be able to win the clash anyways, because look how much the clash power drops from the Rimba going down. She went from making my what is cast favored to dominating because her power went down so much. Okay, we skip all this. Skip. Title Elegy putting in work. One nice thing about this boss is she gets one less skill slot for every staggered unit. But you can't rely on that, because if that ignores her nuke, right? If you get staggered on a turn where she's going to nuke, that person's just going to get cooked. Title Elegy coming in again. This is the last time we'll show its animation. We're just doing it to show the damage output. There we go. Great free-to-play ego right now. Beautiful free-to-play ego. Because you can just get that right out of the shop. Okay, skip. Skip. Now she's nuking, and so my options here are either try to burst her down and stagger her before the nuke, or just try to live. And so I choose just try to live, because I didn't think I was going to be ready to deal a bunch of damage to her after the nuke went off. Because I know I could crack her shield right now, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to finish Mayors off even if I cracked her shield. So I opt to stall instead. Now this is kind of the wrong move, because as you're about to see, I'll skip this animation. I get I get punished really hard. Even rolling a 1, I take a lot of damage. Not from her skills, but from the freaking nervous impairment. I love nervous impairment. Because now my units are at very high nervous impairment, and they're all extremely vulnerable to being staggered, which is like the worst form of damage. But anyway, hitting the Roomba with my fastest unit. Skip ahead. We get through this. This is just another standard turn of what you've been seeing this whole time. Unfortunately, her shield went up because when she nukes, she will recover about 200 to 400 shield. So, sucks, but it happens. There we go. So now she's nuking again, but I know that I can break her shield now, and I'm not going to let myself stall any longer. I figured now is the time to go, and honestly I should have gone the first time. Stalling did not really pay off for me. So I just decided to put Fragile on her next turn with Ryoshu's default ego, Force for the Flames. And then I decided to put damage on the boss here with everyone else. I know that clash set with Merceau is a loser clash, but the boss should be staggered before the clash goes, so it should be fine. I was trying to decide if I should force Faust into Corrosion, but I decided it was a horrible idea, so I didn't. Skip ahead a bit. It took me a long time to make up my mind. So there we go. We can see that I did that 60 damage I need with those 3 skills, because I mean 60 damage isn't very much. So Merceau didn't have to clash. Now the boss is staggered. 5 of the Fragile is from the effect of being staggered. 3 of the Fragile comes from something I'm not sure, probably in her passive abilities. And then 2 of the Fragile came from Ryoshu, so she's at 10 Fragile. And no hitting the Roomba. This is the only time you ignore the Roomba because you're not clashing the boss, and she needs to die. She needs to die. She needs to die so bad. You can't leave it up to chance. So anything that's high damage you have. So like my charge nukes that I've been saving oh so patiently on my W Corp units. Just some good hard hitting skills from Ishmael and Roja. And then I know Merceau and Faust have ass skills up, so I just have them use Ego instead. And as you'll see here, it's just barely enough to kill the boss. It was close, but I managed to do 1200 damage in a single turn. It's off to a bad start with Faust only doing 80. But things pick up here with Otis doing about 180 damage. Ryoshu comes in and does 334. Isang does like, I think about 250. Yep, there he goes. Get about 150 out of Roja. And Ishmael. Ishmael, with that buff from the Lantern, finishes the boss off. So there you go, guys. That's how you beat Mayors. It's a really hard fight. If this guide doesn't work for you, if you are at the end of this guide and you still are struggling, there's videos on YouTube of people beating her really fast with like good teams. So if you have a good team and you're just strategizing wrong, you can find the videos of people like fighting her with a rupture team and killing her really fast. Or if that doesn't work, there's videos of people soloing her, so you can borrow an identity from like one of those YouTubers and try to solo the boss. My friends list is too full to do that because I help people with Ricardo, but that is another option. Alright, I hope this video helped you, and good luck out there, managers.